I have seen this question several times before, and the overgeneralization of the answers just bothers the heck out of me. So I am going to start here. The question is, how much of a house can I afford? What house can I afford with this income? And there's numbers, like all these people want to give numbers of what you can afford. And it just really bothers me. There's more to the equation than I make this amount of money. Can I afford this house? I see it a lot with with people trying to sell houses. They're like, oh yeah, you can afford it. Before actually going into your finances. Now, there are some good realtors. If you need one, hit me up. And in fact, I will put her name in the comments here, in the description here, that you can get a hold of her because she knows what's up when it comes to buying a home and buying a home that you can actually afford. So I'm going to go into it, but I'll give you a good rule of thumb towards the end of this video. But for this first part of it, I am going to give you what it really means to, can you afford something? So many times it's not actually like a dollar amount. So I want you to come back and think with me. Okay, you got to know your values. I go back to this a lot, and if you don't hear anything from this whole video, listen to this. Know your values, the values of your family. Know the value, know what your goals are as a family. Because if you don't know that, you can't make any financial decisions well. Okay, so let me put that out there again, because if you've listened to me for any amount of time, you know that I strongly suggest that you know what you and your spouse and your kids, what your family values. Okay, so here's why I say that. Say that you make enough money. You make enough money. If you Google it, okay, you make enough money to buy this house. Is that going to require that you work a bunch of overtime? Is that going to take you away from your family? Is that going to make it to where you can't go on vacation because you have to work overtime? Is it those values? Like, if family time is important to you, then don't bite off more than you can chew, making you actually go into making decisions that you don't value. And then two, you have to look back on what obligations you already have. If you already have two brand new car payments, if you already have a loan out at Ashley Furniture, if you already have a personal loan out, you already have all these other obligations, you're just going to add to your stress and headache by adding another loan to it, adding your mortgage to it, right? Another thing that a lot of times realtors don't take into, or the bank, however you're getting this house, they don't take into consideration to tell you, hey, if you're upsizing to a bigger house, your taxes are going to go up, your insurance is going to go up, your electricity is going to go up. All of these things also increase. And so it's not just the mortgage, but there are so many other parts to this that are going to increase. Are you going to have to buy new furniture? Are you going to have to, or think you have to buy new furniture? I mean, you don't have to, but a lot of times people get a new house and they're like, new furniture, new decorations, all the new, you know. Are you going to have to paint the house? Again, not have to, but like when we moved into this house, all the walls were white. The family that lived in here, they loved the white walls. It was bright. Obviously back here, I couldn't handle it. Almost every wall was painted before we even moved in. So that was an expense that we had to take into consideration. Your closing costs, most realtors will take that in consideration, but these are all pieces that you have to think of before you say, can I afford this house with this income, right? There's more to the equation here. And the next part is, you don't know that you're going to have your job tomorrow. Like, by the grace of God, hopefully you do. But what if you want to make changes? What if your decisions, if all of your decisions are going to be based off trying to make enough money to make this mortgage work, you're going to add stress to your plate. And if you want to do that, like if you want to add stress to your plate and you're cool with that, by all means, carry on. If that's cool with you, your spouse, everybody involved, like, go ahead, gung ho. But for me and my family, we didn't want that added stress. We wanted to be able to take things down a notch and do things a little bit differently so that we weren't stressed, So we didn't get the leftovers of each other at the end of the day after overtime and all the work and all the things and hustle, hustle, hustle. We didn't want that. You have to make this decision as a family, what's right for your family, what you value, right? This is a unique decision. You can't just Google what kind of house can I afford and expect to get a good answer, expect to get a full answer. Yes, you'll get some things, but please, please, please don't make a $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 decision off of a Google search. Please don't do that. That is not a good idea. Get with a professional, a financial professional, to know really, and somebody that doesn't have skin in the game, not just the realtor. Get other opinions to say, hey, am I making a wise decision here? Wise as many counselors, guys. Talk to several different people and ask if this is a good idea, and actually listen to them. When they tell you something that maybe you don't want to hear, especially if there's like 3 or 4 of them telling you it's not a good idea, don't just sweep that under the rug. Please, please get other input on a big decision like this. Now, I told you I'd give you a good rule of thumb, and here's my good rule of thumb. If you can, and I'll give you some numbers here, say, let's just easy math numbers. If you make $120,000 a year, that's $10,000 a month, right? So that would mean that 25% of that, I use 25% because that will keep you from being house broke. A lot of people, they talk about being house broke, like they have so much house they can't afford anything else. That's house broke. 25% of your take home pay to pay for your housing and your taxes. That is a good number that will help you not be house broke, because nobody wants to do that. Or I haven't met anybody that just wants to do that. Anyways, so 25% of your take home pay. So say you take home $120,000 a year, divide that by 12 months, that's $10,000 a month. Divide that, get 25% of that, so multiply it by 0.25. That is going to give you $2,500. So you can spend, that would keep you from being house broke, $2,500 a month on your mortgage. And that, I'm figuring this off of a 15-year fixed income or fixed interest note, a fixed mortgage, 15-year, because you save bukus of money in interest if you do it on 15. You do it on 30, yeah, you're going to pay a little bit less a month, but in the long run, you pay way more in interest. Do the math if you would like to. It's outrageous. But so figuring this on a 15-year note, 15-year fixed interest note, and I'm figuring this on about 4% because that's what interest is around right now for 15-year note. So that puts you able to buy a $250,000 house. And I think that comes out to like $1,800 and something a month on your mortgage. But remember, you also have taxes, insurance, all these other things. So if you're making, summarize that, if you're making $120,000 a year, and it is within your values and your goals, and you find a house that's $250,000, that is something that's going to keep you from being house broke at 15-year fixed interest rate house. And so I hope that's helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know. I don't want you to be house broke. I don't want you to be making decisions for the rest of your life or for the next 30 years based on a mortgage that you really couldn't afford. So please get many as wise counselors. It doesn't have to be me. Find people that you can talk to and make a wise decision when you're buying this house.